Most people think wealth looks like something: a big car, a corner office, an Instagram caption from a rooftop somewhere in Santorini. And because they don't see those things in their own life, they assume nothing is happening. They assume they're behind. But what if the most dangerous financial mistake you can make is mistaking visible success for actual wealth? Here's what nobody talks about: the people who end up genuinely rich, not temporarily flash, but durably wealthy. They almost never look like it while it's happening. Not to their coworkers, not to their family, sometimes not even to themselves. And there's a reason for that, a specific reason. I'll get to it. But first, let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt like you were winning with money? Not because your bank account jumped dramatically, but just quietly in the background, things were moving in the right direction? If you can't answer that, this is probably why. You're looking for the wrong signals. Because quiet wealth doesn't announce itself. It compounds. And if you know what to look for, the signs are already there. By the end of this, you'll either realize you're further along than you thought, or you'll know exactly what's missing. Here's the first one, and it's going to surprise you. You feel slightly bored with your spending. Not broke, not deprived, just unimpressed by the idea of buying things you don't need. You walk past something you might have bought 2 years ago and feel nothing. That absence of impulse, that's not apathy. That's compounding discipline. Most people never reach it because the advertising machine is specifically engineered to keep that feeling from ever forming. The people who do reach it and stay there, they're the ones accumulating, quietly, every month. The second sign is that your fixed expenses are dropping as a percentage of your income, even if you haven't dramatically cut anything. This is the math nobody gets emotional about, but they should. When your income grows faster than your lifestyle, the gap between what you earn and what you spend gets wider. That gap is the engine. That gap is where wealth is manufactured. Most people let their lifestyle inflate in real time with their income. New salary, new rent, new raise, new car lease. They stay exactly as financially constrained at 40 as they were at 25, just with better furniture. If you've avoided that, if you've resisted that upgrade instinct even once, you're building something real, even if it doesn't feel like it. Third sign: you don't avoid looking at your accounts. Sounds minor. It's not. Financial avoidance is one of the most expensive, invisible habits that exists. People don't check their statements because the number makes them feel bad. So they stop looking. And when you stop looking, the number doesn't get better. It gets worse quietly in the background, while you stay deliberately ignorant of it. People who are building quiet wealth open the app. They check the balance. Not obsessively, not anxiously, just regularly, the same way you check the weather before you leave the house. It's information. And they've made peace with information. If you're someone who actually knows how much is in your accounts right now, down to roughly the right number, you're already ahead of more people than you think. Fourth, you've started measuring your life in months of freedom, not months of salary. There's a concept in William Bernstein's work on investing that most people gloss over because it requires a mindset shift that feels almost uncomfortable. The shift is this: the goal isn't to earn more. The goal is to need less, so that whatever you've accumulated can sustain you. If you've ever calculated how many months your savings could carry your actual expenses, if that number has ever crossed your mind and you've tried to make it grow, that's not an abstract finance exercise. That's a wealthy person's instinct. Most people have never done that calculation once in their life. If you have, you're already thinking like someone who ends up wealthy. Fifth sign: your fun money and your future money are in separate places, and you never touch the second one. This is simpler than it sounds. Having one account for everything is one of the most quietly destructive financial habits that exists. When emergency spending and discretionary spending share space with your savings, the savings always lose. The physical act of separation, a different account, a different institution even, makes money psychologically harder to reach. And money that's psychologically harder to reach accumulates. The people who build real wealth over decades aren't smarter. They're just better at creating friction between themselves and their future money. If you've done this, if you have a place where money goes and doesn't come back out for non-emergencies, drop a comment below. I want to know how long you've been doing it. Sixth sign, and this one stings a little. Your closest friends also care about money. Not because they're greedy, but because they're intentional. Your environment is your strategy, whether you designed it that way or not. If every dinner conversation in your social circle is about deals, promotions, side income, or long-term thinking, you absorb that. It becomes the water you swim in. But if every conversation is about what someone spent on the weekend, what car someone just leased, what vacation someone posted about, you absorb that too. And slowly, without ever making a conscious choice, your reference points shift. You don't have to replace your friends. But notice which conversations energize you and which ones quietly chip away at your sense of what's possible. Seventh, you've started buying time more than you buy things. A 31-year-old data analyst named Devin, not particularly high income, never talked about money publicly, told me once that the moment everything shifted for him was when he stopped buying new tech and started paying someone $30 a week to clean his apartment. He got back 4 hours. He used those hours to build a small freelance skill he now earns from. He didn't buy a thing, he bought time. And time reinvested in income-generating activity or mental bandwidth recovery compounds exactly like money does. When you start valuing your hours in dollars and making spending decisions based on that, you are operating at a level most people never reach. Eighth sign. You've had a financial conversation that felt uncomfortable, and you had it anyway. You negotiated your salary. You asked for a discount. You told someone close to you that you couldn't afford something without shame. You changed a financial agreement that wasn't working. Quiet wealth is built through hundreds of uncomfortable moments that most people avoid. The person who never negotiates loses hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. The person who never says no to social spending never builds a gap. Discomfort around money is where real financial transformation lives. If you've walked through it even once, you know how to do it again. Ninth sign, you are boring about money. Not passive, not uninformed, just not dramatic about it. Wealthy people, durable wealthy people, don't react to market headlines. They don't move everything when something crashes. They don't get high when something moons. They keep their system running month after month, regardless of financial news cycles designed to create anxiety and trigger act. Boredom is the feature, not the bug. If money has stopped being emotionally volatile for you, if you've reached a place where you just let the plan run, you've crossed a threshold that most people spend their whole lives trying to reach without ever knowing that's what they're looking for. If you're not subscribed yet and this is clicking for you, the algorithm buried this for a reason. Hit subscribe so it doesn't happen again. 10th sign. And this one is quiet enough that you might have missed it. You've already started thinking about what you want your money to eventually do, not just how much you want to accumulate. There's a difference between someone who wants to be rich and someone who's building wealth. The person who wants to be rich is focused on a number. The person building wealth is thinking about what the number enables, what it replaces, what it repairs, what it makes possible for people they care about. If you've ever thought about what your financial freedom would let you build, give, create, or walk away from, that's not just a daydream. That's your compass. And people with compasses who hold them long enough actually get there. Here's the thing about quiet wealth that doesn't make the headlines. It doesn't feel like progress most of the time. That's the design. Compound growth is invisible until it's not. The returns are boring until they're shocking. And the habits that drive it, they just look like normal life, unremarkable from the outside. The person next to you at the coffee shop might be worth $500,000. You'd never know. That's the point. You might already be building something significant. You might be further along than you give yourself credit for. The question isn't whether the progress is visible. The question is whether the habits are in place. Because if they are, it's already happening, quietly, every single day. Hit like and subscribe for more. Share this video with your loved ones. I'll see you in the next one.